What's up, party people? The Chess Today show in the house. It's been a little while. I don't want to say too long because that's always, a matter of perception. But this is the Chess Today show, interrupting some of you who've been with the Chess Bras for going on 18 hours straight. That's insanity. And if you haven't heard the news, a special event going on over there at Twitch TV/ChessBra, getting more than 1,000 subscribers to guarantee themselves more Yasser Seirawan. Pretty fun stuff, and Yasser's been making appearances, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the latest news hitting the chess world, solve the daily puzzle, engage with you, the fan, the viewer, in the chat, maybe get some live games going, make my daily chess moves, and who knows, maybe we cap things off with a little four-player chess. Whatever they tell me to do, that's what I'll do. But before we do anything else, let's mention real quick the big news story of the day. Aryan Tari, the predecessor of Magnus Carlsen in Norway, at least that's what they think, did indeed win the World Junior Championship, and Pragnanandana got his first GM norm. Yes, I said that right. You can replay it 5 times. Pragnanandana. Pragnananda. Okay, you get it. All right, but before we do anything else, let's go ahead and bounce over here and solve the daily puzzle. Get this party started. Hello, everybody joining us in the chess.com TV chat. Let me check on over to the Twitch TV/chess chat. Ibrahim still letting me know that he's still available to work for chess.com. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm drinking a polar coffee out of a polar bear cup today. It's the holidays. Okay, don't, I know. You're like, where'd the chess.com mug go? Hello, the ancient game. And everybody else bouncing in. BJH13, we love that gold queen there. That means you've been a sub for some time. I don't know that I have a 24-hour stream coming, so I appreciate that, BJH, in the Twitch TV chat, but I don't know that Papa Bear's up for a 24-hour stream. I'm an old man. I have a seat cushion to help my back. Okay, that's the level I'm at. Okay, I use props in my show to keep it interesting. I don't have a beard like Amon Hambleton does. You know what I'm saying? I can't be Amon, Dad. Why don't you just love me for who I am, Dad? I can't always make you happy and be like Amon Hambleton, Dad. I wish you would just understand that, Dad. I'm not Eric Hansen. I'm Danny Rensch, and I'm going to solve the daily chess puzzle. All right, what do we got here? We got a little bit of a light square assault to avoid our king from getting mated. Seems pretty straightforward. Thank you, New Jersey Greg. We like you finding your art. I do have a pretty, it's my favorite shirt. My kids play outside, and at the bottom of it, it says, damn it, which is great because, you turn all like the Mormon heads and the friendly family heads to you. They're like, oh, look at that guy. He's like a fit guy, and his kids play outside. I love that guy. But then because they're Mormon, they see that it says damn it on the bottom of it, and they're instantly offended, right? I like to keep everybody on their toes. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with this guy, right? Is he family friendly? Is he a secret, crazy person? Is Uncle Sasha going to show up? Dual personalities? All right, I solved this puzzle a while ago. I'm just trying to get you guys excited. There we go. We already have our first request for Uncle Sasha. Anyway, one of the only interesting thing about this that I'm going to highlight is that one of the things that came up consistently in the last Speed Chess Championship match, the one between Magnus Carlsen, actually, I feel like it happened in both. Magnus Carlsen versus So and Magnus Carlsen versus Grisha, because it was always Carlsen putting on a show. But if you missed either of those shows, obviously I assume you've been living under a rock. I mean, we've got, where's the results? Let's go into the news. Magnus Carlsen just absolutely, he was just amazing. He was just amazing over that 72-hour period. It's just not even funny how good Magnus Carlsen is. So he, but there were some consistent positions where Robert Hess and I think even with Eric Hansen, we were covering this so much, we're talking about the theme of the opposite colored bishops and the theme of how, you know, with the right approach and when the initiative really gets going, you can turn the other person's bishop and the other person's really, you know, their entire army into sort of bystanders for an attack, especially if the assault is specific to one color complex, right? So this is a super easy puzzle. But again, the one thing to remember is that's what chess is. Chess is chess. If you gain the initiative and you're able to keep that going, the most powerful form of an initiative is playing checks, right? There's also attacking pieces, you know, capturing pieces. There's all different kinds of ways to gain time. But the most powerful, the only truly forcing tempo move is a check, right? Because they have to deal with their king. And so if you can keep the attack going on a specific color complex, you're always in the game. And that's a funny thing, right? It's kind of like baseball in that sense. And oh my gosh, did I just compare chess to baseball? Ugh, yuck, right? Talking about baseball, not chess, right? Who wants to compare themselves to baseball these days, right? No thanks, I'm not into a 5-hour game and 20-minute layovers every time you change pitchers. Sorry, baseball, I'm over it. Okay, actually, I really love baseball, but I'm really frustrated with the current product that they're putting on the field. Don't get me started. I'll leave that for a different show. But the one thing about baseball that's different than basketball, football, soccer, right, any other sport, is that there's not that clock that's just ticking down. The clock that when it runs out, it doesn't matter what the score is. In baseball, there's theoretically always a chance to come back. And in chess, there is that little principle of, you know, as long as you have the initiative, the fact that White's down a rook in this position and completely busted in terms of his own king position is irrelevant. So interesting little takeaway for as far as weird comparisons to start off the Chess Today show. But all right, let me go back to the chat and say again to all of you how much I love you all. Thank you for being here. All of our subscribers, BJH, love that gold queen. Become a subscriber and engage with our awesome, hilarious, funny emotes. Let's talk about. Let's do the Crazy Danny. Actually, let's not do Crazy Danny. Let's do Hikaru. You know why? Because I think Hikaru's in live chess. Let's go see if he's in there. That's the fun thing about the Chess Today show is I can do whatever I want when I want. Cartman. All right, we got 35,000 peeps online. We got 12,000 games in progress. Hikaru was playing. Looks like he's no longer here. So that's disappointing. But there's so much chess going on right now. If you want to follow whatever the top chess game is that's going on at any given time, we also have a new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/top chess game, which is really just another fun way for anybody on Twitch to follow games. Surely you can do any of that just by going to chess.com/live and follow the games. But if you prefer your Twitch chat and you want to engage and watch on a show, the Twitch TV/top chess game pretty much is always playing whatever the top game is at chess.com, kind of a new thing we just launched. Funsies, we're doing everything we can to just make chess grow on Twitch. It's our passion right now. You can't blame anybody for their passion. For following their dreams. Anyway, there you go. Now you see this. You see, very nice. It is like Mother Russia had a top chess game baby and put wrapper on it because they forgot to use wrapper, and now they have baby, and now you get it. We have this very nice top chess game with players who are in motion. Currently we have Cake Dancer. I was also Cake Dancer. This was past life with Magic Mike. I was on the Magic Mike stage and we had dancing shoes and the pants were very tight. But it was nice, actually, because I appreciated the opportunity to get my first start in Hollywood with this. Okay, never mind. We leave this one behind. All right, let's talk about Aryan Tari, right? Because this kid is a genius. Actually, is he a genius? We don't know exactly yet. Maybe not on the level of Magnus Carlsen, but obviously already on his way to becoming a very strong grandmaster. And winning the World Junior Championship is nothing to sneeze at. Sella Bethel says the only impersonation I'm good at is the one of Danny Rensch. That doesn't even make sense because I'm not impersonating anybody. Sella Bethel, I love you because you're a subscriber and you've got that golden rook on Twitch TV/chess. But I don't agree with that. An hour 47 in the chess.com TV chat says that accent is legit. Thank you. Got to give a shout out to our top cheer, still of $2,000 from Kish KU there. Wait, we got an awesome comment here from Champus11. Says, hey, just want to say I really love watching this stream. I played a lot of chess when I was young and haven't played in years because I thought I had no one to play with, and now watching this stuff got me back into chess. That is awesome stuff. That is like literally a rags to riches story that's legit. Not like all those ones that every rapper makes up as if all of them came, you know, from dire straits, urban poverty. Some of them did, but it's like, how many times can you go from the bottom to the top, Jay-Z? You can't lead every rap song with, hey, I went from the bottom to the top. Like, we get it, all right? You hear what I'm saying? Move on. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Aryan Tari. So, Pragnananda also got his first GM norm. If you don't know who this kid is, he's like this, you know, I think he's like 3 years old. He's a prodigy from India. He's bananas. He's a beast. Here he beats Jordan Van Foris. I think it's Jordan Van Foris, actually. This is interesting. I haven't even looked at this game. What's going on here? Little pony dance, little night ending. I like a pony party. Come on. Okay, I love it. King activity. I love it. Gonna go get that C6 pawn. I knew it. There you go, a little fork town. Everybody falls. That's a sweet little way to end it, right? Obviously, if black takes it, you have D5 check. Fork down. Okay, so Pragnananda, good job. Obviously, we know Anand is pulling for his boy. But I want to talk about Aryan Tari because he won the whole thing. He beat Gregorio Parian, who is actually a regular player in Title Tuesdays on Chess.com. So this youngster is a beast, and he plays on Chess.com a lot. So that's fantastic. Another big win again. No, here is a draw. There's Tari right there. He is the new World Under-20 champion. Pretty awesome stuff. And these were some of the final standings. Wondering how many other of these names I would recognize. A lot of up-and-comers from China. If you look at this here, guys, a lot of up-and-comers from China. This is Vietnam, but these three here are all China. So that should be amazing. That should be fun to see those names get more popular as they grow. Magnus Carlsen, giving some love to his boy. Of course, you can download the full PGN from the tournament. But let's go over at least one Tari game to complete this acknowledgement of the young man's accomplishment. Okay, let's see what we can learn about this. We have a Caro-Kann with the early G4 and E6 line. Now, this is actually interesting because this version of the E6 gambit is ultra aggressive. Normally, it's more effective if you can get it. Let me open up an analysis board and do some teaching here, because I love to provide that instruction. Let's close out of this game. Let's open an analysis board. Just today, you can follow it if you want. Here, I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link in chess.com TV, and I'll give you the link on Twitch. Just saying. Just saying. Shout out to everybody who's coming in. Aricus09 says, I like this commentator. He's good. Thank you, sir. That could be the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. Kabubby, platinum member on Chess TV chat, says, this guy inspires me to get good enough to become an IM and then retire. Okay, most people can't retire in the chess world as an IM, but that's actually not even true. The truth is, there's a lot of opportunities. The global chess market, if you will, I think is bigger than a lot of people realize. I mean, I know a lot of masters who have run super successful after-school enrichment programs. You tap into some ECA money, extracurricular activity. You run a school program. You get private lessons. There's a lot of different ways to earn a living via the chess community. Of course, you can also do it just by streaming your games, right? I'm kidding. I can't promise anybody they can earn a full-time living, but if you haven't considered becoming a chess streamer, you should. So here's the thing about this line in the Caro-Kann with Aryan Tari. So normally, let's start this highlight of Aryan Tari's win at the World Junior Championship. If you missed it, Aryan Tari, if you're just joining us. And then this win here over a regular Chess.com Blitzer Title Tuesday player, Aryan Tari. So this line here, e6, normally is much more effective if you get the h4 move in first. The difference is that after h4, there are two main moves for black. h5, which is theory, as well as h6, which was played by Kramnik against Leko in their World Championship match in 2004, if you don't know that game. Now when white plays g4, black is committed to bringing the bishop back behind the structure. The reason is, with the significant weakness already made on the light squares because of this extra tempo, right? White has played h4 and black has played h6. This little difference in the position makes it so that g4 is that much more effective in terms of attacking on the light squares. If a move like bishop g6 is played, white can play e6 first or even gain yet another tempo and then go after the light squares. And in both positions, white is getting massive amounts of compensation here based on the weak light squares and the weak king. So if you're a Caro-Kann player, if you're an e4 player, and you were not aware of this very traditional, very tricky trap, you now just became a better chess player by watching the Chess Today show. But again, this line is most effective with h4 first, again, because you induce the potential of this weakness. And if h6, g4, black needs to play bishop d7 again. You can look, if you want to see a stem game of how black should play this line, look up Leko Kramnik World Championship match 2004. And in this line, okay, so what's happened? Black is... because the bishop had to back up, black is committed to the fact that he no longer has that advantage of this bishop being outside the pawn chain. That's kind of the whole idea of playing bishop f5, so you're stuck with that French bishop. But white has also overextended, if you will, and wasted some time, potential weaknesses on the king side. So there you go. That's kind of the theory. But in this game, I'm curious to see, because I don't know a lot about this line here, where white just plays g4 immediately. I knew this was a line, but with the e6 immediate follow, this should be some sassy stuff. So let's see what Grigori did against Tari. They note, of course, here that knight h3 is the main move normally after g4. White goes the old school, old-fashioned way to just go gobble up the bishop pair, but not anything super crazy. Here e6 is played. Interesting, and so black just denies the gambit. I guess it makes sense, similar to the fact that, you know, in the main line, if black just took it, yes, white doesn't have the h4, h5, and black has not made this weakness significant on the light squares, but probably white's still getting some interesting compensation. So this move, queen to d6. So this is what was played. Queen to d6. Okay, we have very nice. It takes. Okay, and now f4. Wow. Okay, so this is how you play for a win. If I had to guess the tournament standings, the win in round 8 against strong Russian Grandmaster Grigori Aryan was a big one. The pawn break on move 9 was a bit similar to some lines in the French, where black improves his central pawn at the cost of a pawn. So I don't know, but I wonder if Grigori felt like he had to win this game. I don't know. Either that or he just went all in. But it's a very super aggressive approach where you're giving black a lot of winning chances for sure. Okay. This is all about Aryan Tari's big win here, and this move g5. Wow, that is an interesting dynamic shot. As much as this seems like counterintuitive to many of maybe the amateur or lower level players watching the show, when you weaken white's control over the central dark squares here, okay, on e5 and on c5 with the move g5, you're playing the long game of that gambit. Black is going to eventually break open in the center and try to have some really aggressive chances because of the space he's gained. I like it. This is an interesting game here, first of all. Queen e7, he doesn't even want the rook, right? Honey Badger wants the whole thing. I should just grab the PGN. Did you know you can just... let me add the mouse back. Let me add the mouse back so you guys can all see what I'm doing here. Did you know that you can just click this little thing here, grab the PGN, and then just go paste it in the analysis board? Click on the set position PGN button. So make our lives easier. So now we can actually just go over this Aryan Tari victory right here. So I can make highlights. So anyway, that's the whole point of G5, is to open up this. But back to the position we were in with this interesting exchange sack. Black doesn't even want a piece of this because after pawn takes, you've got f6 coming, closing off the bishop. And then the dark squares will be everybody's problem. So instead we have d takes e5. Knight takes e5, queen e3. He accepts the exchange sack, but the difference is that now he's got a tactic to follow. Boom. Queen takes g5. Eliminating the pawn duo, and the point, everybody, is if you take the queen, knight f3 check, forks the king and queen, and white would just be down the exchange. So white has to keep the queens on the board to try to have some compensation, but already you get the feeling this is going way the wrong way. Yeah, black is... Look at that move, knight f4. The knight's on pre with the bishop, but it's pinned. Knight's on pre with the knight, but it's pinned. That's a very, very nice little finishing touch here. You pick off the bishop, f5 falls, and this game is over. I'm not even sure. I actually did just resign, so there you go. Okay, well, congratulations to the new reigning World Junior Champion, Aryan Tari. There's a fun game for all of his fans, and we get back to the chat here, checking with all of you before we play my daily chess moves. I got 6 games waiting, along with 800 neglected messages. The fans just continue to really love Danny's. They really love Danny's attention that he's given them in the message center. I'm gonna say by the end of this week, I'm gonna put my own deadline on this. If I have not cleared my message queue, I'll give away a few one-year diamond memberships. That's pressure, right? It's pressure because Eric hates when I do that. Danny, you can't just give away everything. Yes, I can, because I have the microphone and you don't, Eric. So I can do whatever I want. Plus, you can't go back on something that's said on TV, right? Come on. Okay, so I'm going to get through my messages today. Daniel, have my babies. First of all, I mean, like, are we adopting babies? Are you a female? Like, what's going on here, right? I'm married, happily married, got 4 kids of my own, cannot be reproducing overly. Overpopulation is a problem. Okay, I want to thank everybody for being here. The Twitch chat is active. The chess.com TV chat is active. Just scrolling back to see if there's any... Yeah, I saw that. Bovinity, Bovinity in the Twitch chat just shared this interesting... What was that guy? Like Magnus Carl... Wait, there it was. No, that was Magnus talking about the lag on Chestnut Plays, dude, after 1 month. Let's see if Google can deliver something. A chess novice... So if you missed this story, this is a big story. I'll log into my Reddit here. This was a big story, although that wasn't actually the link I was looking for. I want to see. Here we go. So yeah, I mean, this story was actually sent to me and Eric by someone last week over the Thanksgiving holiday, and this guy, look at that eye look to Magnus Carlsen. First of all, how hilarious is that? Can we get can we Photoshop Danny like into this one? Like is this guy bananas? Is he cuckoo? Right? I mean, you can't. And look at, you can also just tell from a body language perspective, the way he moves the pieces, like any grandmaster knows, there's also a body language to people that are super fast. Have you ever watched like Eric Hansen play blitz over the board? I mean, I would say myself, but anybody who's a professional chess player, like it doesn't work like that, right? It's almost like you know when someone's a beginner at chess because they're almost asking their hand where the piece should go. They're like, right? And that's the thing that is also like ridiculous. So I don't know where this whole thing got off. And as they said, the journalists, said that it was a bit of a nail biter in some circumstances. Also, right there, right? He just moved and hit the clock with his opposite hand. That's illegal. It's not allowed in tournament play. So anyway, fun story. I don't know who this guy really was, and I don't mean to bash, the effort or whatever, but you can't master chess in a month. It doesn't work like that. There's the speed learner thing doesn't apply to chess. And there you go. So thank you, Bovinity, for reminding me of that story so that I could... yeah, and it was. And Sella Bethel's right in Twitch. The story was big for people who know zero about chess, which is always fun. So it'd be like me, I could go, give me a month, and I can go, throw in the NFL. I could go be a quarterback. So, any Hooters, not a real thing there, Bob. Not a real thing there, Bob. Nope. All right, Bears, Packers, Bob, burritos. Where are we going? We're going back here. Okay, so let's go play some daily chess moves. Thanks to Bovinity for sharing that. If anything, it brought attention to chess. I don't disagree with that. I'm sharing my feelings with you guys as basically I feel like we're all friends here. We're just a bunch of buddies hanging out. And I think the story is a bit ridiculous. Like, just personally. Now, again, as somebody who's in the business of growing the global chess scene, like, that's what I do. That's like my job, right? I mean, I act like an idiot on Chess TV, neglect my member messages, answer a few emails, and actually try to do some bigger picture stuff to grow the global chess scene. So I appreciate that, and it's cool that Magnus, and that's another reason why Magnus does those things. I mean, Magnus knows there's no way that guy has, like, a chance, like, to do, right? I mean, but Magnus is also an ambassador for the game, and I think he does a good job, and I think Magnus's team has been very smart about his brand and what type of things and events and partners they associate themselves with. So I think that Magnus knew that it was going to get attention, and that's why they got involved in it. But okay, as far as me just sharing my personal feelings here, Uncle Sasha is opening up to you, giving that thing I only shared with Igor in Siberian prison. We were shut down. It was a long story, got cold. We had to hold each other, but everything was just normal there. I was just holding him like a spoon position because we were in prison, and it was, okay, that is long story for Uncle Sasha. Okay, so we're back. That is true. John H.S. noted that the papers kind of talked about how he was winning early on because he was white. Yeah, if you have the engine running in any position in the beginning of the game, everyone just watch this evaluation bar, right? It likes white. LOL, right? LOL. All right. Let's play some daily chess games. I appreciate everybody being here on the Chess Today show. Right after this show is done, I implore everybody to stick around. Don't go back to Worktown. That rhymed, and watch the Chess Bra show. Give them some sub love as they continue to do everything they can within their network to also get Yasser Serouan more involved and do all that stuff. So, but I'm not going anywhere for a while. So if you're just tuning into the Chess Today show, thanks for being here. We've already talked about Aryan Tari's big win. In it, you know, impromptu, sort of improv, talking about this Magnus Carlsen story versus the speed learner. Now it's time for some real chess. Okay, so I'm better in this position. Let's analyze it. This is against Bess Pally. The thing about these positions is I'm always tempted to go for something like this. And before you think, yeah, Danny, we know you're always tempted to find ways to lose positions. The thing about these types of lines is if you can retreat the queen in any direction where you're actually still keeping the king in the center, like if there's a way to make that sacrifice, okay? If there's a way to make that sacrifice and then get the queen back where the king can't just get castled, almost always the e-file is full of devastating tactics, right? So, and in this situation, the first thing that comes to mind is, can I retreat the queen to b3? Here I'd be gaining a tempo on the knight. So indirectly, I'd be preventing castles long because I'd just be winning back my piece, right? And if he has to deal with the knight, how is he dealing with the knight and the threats of rook e1 check? Or rook e1 winning the queen? So probably the best thing would be to move the queen. I can give check. The king moves. And, okay, have I guaranteed that white has a winning attack here? No, but intuitively, I think that white's chances are very strong here. I mean, immediately you start considering c4 and d5. Knight e5 just off the top of your head with the threat of knight f7 is interesting. After takes and takes, they still can't really block on the d-file without losing a piece. So let's see. Let's back up. Why am I frozen here? Okay, so going into this idea here with bishop takes e6. I'm in beta. I just realized I'm in beta. Okay. One of the things that all of our staff members at chess.com do is that most of the time we're operating on the site in beta, so code that hasn't been pushed yet, so allow us to hopefully catch bugs before they hit you, the user. Sometimes we fail miserably at that. But anyway, that's the idea, and this is part of us trying to improve our workflow a little bit. So I think I'm testing a new board, actually. Yeah, I'm in preview mode, so all right, I'm just gonna stay here, but I'm gonna be a little careful. So anyway, I think bishop takes e6 is really strong. Bishop e6, f e6, queen e6, queen e7, queen b3, gain a tempo, queen c7, rook e1 check, king to d8, knight e5. If rook f8, I can also, instead of knight e5, I can just play c4 and just go for d5. It feels like the only real issue I'm having now is it even necessary? The position is kind of overwhelming for me, and I think that his best case scenario is to castle short, but then I've got, g4 and g5 coming, just pry open all kinds of squares and diagonals, which is another candidate move to consider here, just playing the move g4, right? g4 followed by g5 looks also dangerous. In fact, if g4, queen d7, g5 takes, he has to trade, and the bishop moves, I have rook h8, so that's a problem. So if g4, queen up, g5, he'd have to back up the bishop, and then g6 comes in, which is also really strong. So g4 seems really, really strong as well. Now I'm torn. Both g4, g5, g6 seems like a good thing for the doctor, what the doctor ordered. But bishop takes e6 also just feels like so much fun. Sorry, I'm calculating in my head. When I'm not talking, I'm actually thinking, by the way. Takes, shake and bake. Queen back to b3, queen c7, check, king moves. That attack is just going to be so strong. But, again, I have a hard time not loving g4, g5, g6. No reason to sacrifice the material, and it feels like Black's position is on full tilt almost immediately. So I'm going to go with the more sound, the more strategically principled approach, strategically. I've been corrected a lot that that's not a word, but in my world it is, okay? I'm like my 6-year-old. If I say it's a word, it's a win, it's a win. Okay, so here I also got, this is in a tournament I joined, by the way. If you're not playing in any tournaments on chess.com, that's a you problem. I play tournaments all the time because it's a fun way to connect and make new friends. No, actually, I play it because I just like to always have something to do. Bishop takes b5. After he takes, I'm going to put the knight on c5. The reason I need to take on c5 first is because if I don't, the c7 square is open. So I'd like to play knight c5 and kind of keep the pressure. But I should possibly play knight there. That immediately makes him have to deal with the threat of the pin. And it feels like black is in fantastic shape. Regardless of whether I win material or not, worst case scenario in that game, I give up the bishop for the knight. I've got a good knight on a dark square versus a bad bishop on a light square. Everybody's happy. All right, so here we have a Sicilian. The last couple moves here were one of those where white is losing the bishop pair. If I take on d5, white takes back, and you've got this Marco hop structure where the e7 pawn is weak. It's a very common pawn structure in the Sicilian, and it's something to look out for. But, it also is, in this position, it's one of those ones where I don't even know that I have to take. I feel like I've already achieved some strategic wins in the position by eliminating the bishop pair before I even go for that. The risk of not taking is you're leaving them with a super powerful pony in the middle of the board, right? And that knight attacks key squares, and there could be tactics. But if you don't take it and you want to remove it, okay, if you play a move like e6, well, now when they take, at some point the smoke clears, and the theory is your d6 pawn is much weaker because you've pushed that pawn, right? So these are the positional things you want to keep in mind, right? If you capture on d5, you're creating a structure that gives more space to white, right? You take, and if you just make simple moves, they play c4, they try to put a rook on e1, and white's positionally a little better. If you don't take, and you play e6, the risk is again, as I said, the d6 pawn becoming a problem. But none of those are really like that big of a worry here. Because I've won the bishop pair so early, dynamically, it feels like black is kind of going to be okay either way. It's just a question of the direction I want the game to go. I'm not interested in playing b5 anymore, everybody who's a regular Sicilian player. That would be an idea for you, but here you'd be weakening the a6 pawn. Don't do that, right? That's a pro tip. No reason to play b5 once they've already opened the a file, especially if I'm not gaining anything specifically, significant. There's no reason to do that. Here, that would not be gaining space. It would be leaving a pawn weak behind. So these are all good little lessons. Should do bop. Dibba-do-do, bop-bop. Bidoo, babap, nah. What I want here What do you like, Uncle Sasha? You are here now. What do you like? E6 takes, F6 takes. Am I really worried about the D6 pawn? Not really. But I'm going to play Rook C8. And my idea is I may induce C4 to kind of re-support that knight. And that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world for him. But then if I play E6, I feel like I'm already in a better position to maybe protect that pawn if need be. And I feel like I can open up the position for the bishop pair, eventually hoping that these weak B pawns will be a factor if he's extended the C4 pawn. So I'm going to play Rook C8. There you go. Shake and bake. Now, this game between me and CM Pro, this was like one of those games we saw in the Computer Chess Championship with me and Robert Hess, where he just played like an opening that just gave me a pawn. He played a Tarrasch, and I just won the pawn and said, thank you very much. And I was like, all right, I played like Stockfish here. I was like, give me a pawn, I'm going to take a pawn. Now I've got a pleasant choice, I think. Pleasant choices between capturing here, giving back the bishop pair, and playing c4, exposing the fact that the pawn is in prison as far as protecting that knight. I'm not worried about bishop f6 because I have rook a2. Again, the goal is at some point I'm going to undouble my previously doubled c-pawns, and everybody should be happy. So that's one idea, but also I could probably play bishop d3 and get the same stuff. Why give up the bishop here? If he plays bishop f6... Oops, analysis mode. If I play bishop d3, bishop f6, and rook a2, what's the big deal, right? He may play rook e8 to overprotect, but I still have c4 coming, with the same goals of undoubling my c-pawns and undermining the knight here. No, I guess he's got knight e5. So bishop there is going to run into knight e5, and then what's the point of it all? What's it all about? So the other option would be if I really love my bishop pair, I should bring it to a4 and b3, or maybe even just all the way back to f1. Which are also both seem to be good options. I actually kind of like bishop a4 to bring the bishop around here. But bishop f1 is just the super safe move. Get out of the jungle. I'm choosing between good things here. I'm choosing between good things. Sometimes that can be a really... unsafe psychological trap, right? You got to be careful because if you assume that all roads lead to Rome and that's sort of that's your starting emotional position, that you're just in a no-lose situation, you calculate with a jaded perspective, right? You're looking at the position and sort of convincing yourselves that everything is good, and that's something that's really, really dangerous, actually. That's just also a good lesson. So even though I said that out loud, it is actually something you want to learn from and not do. Most of the time, that's the wrong attitude. Push yourself to be unbiased and concrete and make tough decisions even if you're better, not just think that anything is good. It doesn't mean go out of your way to change a position, right? That's why I'm considering keeping the bishop pair because, yeah, he gained a tempo, but if I don't have to give up the bishop pair, why should I, right? I know I'm in the driver's seat, but you don't want to rest on your laurels of the position either. Hopefully that balance makes sense. All right, I'm going to play bishop a4 and rely on this diagonal being a long-term home for my bishop. I would have liked bishop d3, but because of knight e5, I'm choosing against it. So, all right, so bishop a4 is the move, and we keep going. Sorry, I've been really focused on my games for the better part of the last 20 minutes. Here's the first game I'm losing. Just want to make sure everyone in the chat knows that I'm still here for you. Give us a sub on Twitch. If you don't know, we've added more fun faces and buttons, and we got other stuff coming your way. Let's have MVL make an appearance in the chat. Hey Maxime, how you doing, buddy? I know you didn't qualify for the candidates. You know that doesn't change how I feel about you. You know that, right? I mean, I just want you to know that that feeling between us, that love and appreciation, purely platonic, it's not going anywhere, even though you didn't qualify for the candidates. I think you got robbed, and I think the system is rigged. You want to talk about that real quick? Should we take a break from the daily chess games? Okay. Maxime wants to talk about it. Sometimes, you know, you have to have a little bit of therapy to get it out. So for those of you who missed the news, I've focused on Aryan Tari's big win. Obviously, we also talked about Magnus Carlsen's interesting experience against the speed learner, if you missed that news. But the other big news, the big news, was that Aronian and Yakovenko won the Palma Mallorca Grand Prix, but the most important thing is that Mamedyarov and Grishuk took the last 2 qualification spots for the candidates. So we have yet another Russian in the qualifier rather than MVL. Nobody's happy about that. It's nothing against... I love Sasha. Sasha Grishuk, also my boy. And Mamedyarov has had a great year. He deserved it. But I would rather expand the field than not have Anish Giri, Hikaru Nakamura, and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in the candidates. That's how I feel about it. So if you missed the news, let me share the link to you in the Twitch chat. There you go. There you go, boys. There you go. Hey, Donna. Rooked on Chess is here. One of my favorite people in the Chess TV chat. So, you know, again, here were the final standings in the Grand Prix. But to name the ones who didn't make it that are really head-turners are Anish Giri, or let's say they were in the candidates last time. Nakamura, Vachier-Lagrave. Wasn't Anish Giri? Weren't all 3 of them in the candidates last time around? I don't know. But the final candidates listing, if I can find it for you, I think it's toward the bottom of this awesome news article. If you haven't been following our coverage of all the different FIDE Grand Prix this year, Peter Dockers does a better job covering chess than like everybody else combined. Anyway, so these were the final Grand Prix points. So Mamedyarov, Grishuk, totally deserving to get in. Danny Rensch clinched his spot along with Levon Aronian at the World Cup, right? Remember, they won the World Cup. Totally deserving. Yakovenko had a big event here, but Vachier-Lagrave, Hikaru Nakamura. Hikaru actually, you know, Hikaru has flown under the radar this year as far as his performances in the Grand Prix, but he was pretty consistent overall, you know. I don't think he's done so bad. But where's the final list of who's in the candidates? Just so everyone in the news here can everyone who's following the Chess Today show can. Yeah. So here's our final list. Mamedyarov and Grishuk, Danny Rensch, Sergei Karyakin, Fabiano Caruana, Wesley So. Caruana and So will be representing America, right? They both get in by rating. Kramnik was the last wild card. And as we already know, Aronian was in via the World Cup. So, all right, so there you go. The candidates is going down in March 2018. You can expect all kinds of coverage. Why is the candidates a big deal for those of you who were just like, yeah, this is all great, Danny, but what are you even talking about? The winner of the candidates is the next challenger to Magnus Carlsen for the throne to be the king of the jungle in the chess world. So it's a big deal, regardless of the dysfunctional setup and everybody's issues with FIDE and Aegon. So congratulations to Yakovenko and Aronian, taking down about 20K, 17.5 euros. And congratulations to everybody who made it. Maxime, do you feel better having talked about it? What? Oh, only I talked about it. You didn't have a chance yet to talk about it. Okay, you want to talk about it later on a different show? Okay, I'll bring you back on a different show. Maxime's going to be back later, everybody. He's not happy about how I handled that, so, you know, that's weird. All right, back to Daily Chess, and let's keep rocking. MVL is such a nice person. Thank you, Nixon76. MVL, I mean, seriously, I'm jokes aside, and I love having the fat head of Maxime in my shows, but honestly, Maxime is one of my favorite people in the chess world. Just like flat out love Maxime, and really is disappointing he didn't qualify, especially because he's literally had probably the best year overall of everyone in the top. He's just been so consistent. He's been so busy. Go ahead and go look at the tournament performances of all the top players in the world this year. Maxime has played in every single tournament and just done so well, and maybe that's partly why he lost. Maybe a little bit of exhaustion caught up with him, you know, missing some details there in some critical games. I don't think that's fair. Yag Mordo in the Twitch chat says that Aronian's been missing chances, too wrapped up in romance. Yes, Aronian did get married, but Aronian won the Norway Chess Super Final, the Singfield Cup Rapid, the World Cup, and then just won the final Grand Prix, though he had already qualified. So I think Aronian, I don't think that's fair about Aronian at all. How will Aronian perform in the candidates? I'm not sure, but I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that, John HS. Aronian's had a great year, too. I think MVL has had a very consistent year. The MVL has probably played about 20 more FIDE-rated games, I think, than Levon this year, if not more. So, and I was kind of talking about his consistency this year. But you're right. Levon Aronian has also had a phenomenal year, as has Mamadjarov. So certainly nobody is wrong in regards to their opinion on their favorite. All right, let's get back to learning some chess. So why am I losing this position? Let me share with you where things went wrong. This is where Danny just lost it. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. Feeling a little verklempt. Here's what happened. So I was defending this position. This is a classical French, if you don't recognize the pawn structure. Pretty much was all theory up in this joint. We had all theory up in this joint for a while. This is all theory, all theory, all theory. I like this early knight e2 retreat, bringing that pony into d4, but I don't know. I mean, it's just a line that I've played a few times. You put the pony on d4. You're, trying to establish control of those critical squares. But now I had to waste a lot of time. I feel like I've already chosen a slightly dubious line. I need to go back up and learn, remind myself of my classical French theory. Honestly, I'm no longer a strong chess player. I just pretend to be one. So, I employ this sort of rook lift where the rook is doing two things, right? Prophylactically guarding things along the third rank, helping the h-pawn. So I'm trying to put my pieces in the right position to defend and still kind of pretend to be poking holes maybe at the king side here. I saw this idea coming. I mean, this is not a complicated idea. You put the knight on c3, the knight is poisoned. You can't take it because after the pawn takes, black's queen is going to come in and checkmate the white king. So this is all kind of expected. Now here is where I think I started to miscalculate based on the fact that I thought that I would have more of a concrete threat to take his knight on c3 if I could clear the c1 square for the queen. I really underestimated sort of the long-term dysfunction of my position with my rooks being disconnected. This is key. My rooks are disconnected here, okay? Which means they're not guarding each other on the third rank or the first rank. I think that was a big thing I underestimated. Secondly, I just underestimated that with the board being so closed, even if he wasn't delivering mate, like if I had the c1 square, I was still going to have problems. So I played knight b3, played a4, knight d4. I went for this whole line, which I anticipated the pawn guards e4, so officially, in case you're keeping track at home, that pony is trapped. The knight has no place else to go. And after queen c5, I'm like, well, now what? And I suddenly realized that I actually didn't have a choice. I'm all in. I have to go for this line because if I move the knight, okay, if I move the knight somewhere like knight f3, he's already threatening knight e4. And there we have that board bug again. Great. He's already threatening knight e4, hitting the queen and opening up the queen to the first rank. I'll make a timeline note of this and share this with the developers because this is a really irritating bug with our new board here. So that issue there with the fact that I can't just move the knight to safety means I'm all in, right? The only other move would be knight c2, but if I go knight c2, they can play knight takes a2 and also open up the queen. So I took the knight and played queen e3 with the idea that I could temporarily stop the pawn on c2. Okay, like if they just go all in here, right? If they just go all in, it's just a big trade, just a big trade here. Go to the rook ending, which is probably worse for me anyway, actually, come to think of it. And without that, I thought maybe I would have time to then reset and come back, which I almost do here. I almost have time to play rook back to h1. Right? Where's the mate? I'm guarding all these critical squares. Rook back to h1. If a3, queen to d4, and I'm still guarding it. If rook to h1, rook to b8 or b7, I also have queen d4. Queen to b1 check, takes. I don't get mated, actually. I actually don't think queen b4 was the best move. I think that black was winning on the move d4. This was the move that I was anticipating, and I had analyzed. If d4, now if I take, they can get a queen, everybody. And now the point is they win the exchange. So that's one idea. If I can't take d4 and I back up, I think they just simply start focusing their efforts on the b file. And now I don't have enough time to stop anything. So I think d4 was the bee's knees. And maybe they're still winning in this position. I'm just not seeing it. But if I play rook h to h1, am I holding? One of the key points is that if I play rook h to h1, and they go here, and I go queen d4, I'm gaining a tempo. So they can't just play rook b8 and then mate me because I'll trade queens, right? I think. So if they have to back up, now I'm already in a position where I can come over here, maybe? No, they can actually still go here, and I'm probably still just busted. Owie. 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 Ouch, town. I think I'm still busted here. So this is kind of like I said. This is just the board is split in half, and I underestimated how dangerous the slow buildup was going to be by him. And that's what happened here. By the way, I'm mated because I can't take. He has queen b1 check and then takes here. So that means that if we back that thing up, that means that even after queen b4, I'm apparently still lost. That's frustrating. This is very, very not happy. Uncle Sasha is very upset about this. I don't think I have any other move but rook h1 anyway. Like knight d4 would be a candidate move to unleash the queen's defense, but then queen c3 is mate on the spot. Queen c1, then they can just continue the same plan of dominating on the b file. Right? And then if I play d4, although that's interesting actually. As horrible as this looks, if they go for the traditional b-file idea, and then I have this move d4, opening up the rook, which was part of my whole defensive idea. And if they go for this, no, I'm just busted. Or am I? What? Takes. It's no bueno, Holmes. It's no bueno, Holmes. Uh-oh. Am I actually getting out of it with queen c1? That would be shocking. Queen to c1. And then I have d4, and the whole point is I get this c3 square for the knight where I can guard b1. If takes, c1 takes, c1 takes, rook takes, rook takes, king b2. Okay, he can still go to the rook ending. So in this position, he can still sack the queen and then promote, and I'm forced to go into the rook ending where I'm probably worse, but I don't know if I'm lost. Because my king can quickly get the a-pawn. Plus, I don't know that he wants to do that. Right? It's like psychologically difficult when you want to checkmate somebody to transition to a rook ending. But I have a feeling. I'm doing it. Queen to c1. Committed. Okay. Now, this game became absolutely nuts. I literally don't even know what's going on in this game. I'd like to take f7, king h6, queen f4 check, but then they have g5. And on queen f6 check, queen can come back and block, although even at the end of that line, I can go gobble his rook. It feels like I should do that, yeah. Yeah, because in the end, I'm opening up everything for check. I like it. All right, this is just a draw. I'm just refusing to give this guy a draw because I'm being a jerk. I'm torturing him, okay? You caught me. I'm pulling the old Russian grandmaster. I'm torturing my opponent. There, you feel better? All right, back to the chat. Everybody who's here gets nothing but love for me. Thank you to all 460 of you who are involved in the Chess.com Today show. Danny loses to sub 2,000 players all the time, UKR Chess, so that's not even a, I don't know if you're trying to make me feel bad about that or if you're genuinely curious if I can actually speak today. Anyway, but thanks to everybody for being here. If you're a long-time Twitcher, first-time viewer of the Chess Channel, please consider giving us a follow and a sub. And if you are a premium member on the Chess TV chat, we love and appreciate you. Thanks for all your support. And this has been a lot of fun. We have jumped into news. We have we've gone over games. We've created some highlightable moments. You guys have helped me not lose a few of my daily chess games. I think if I clear my queue, my 800 messages, I could start doing a regular chess show like every week where I go through all the messages with you guys. As long as I don't like show usernames or incriminate. Also, full disclosure, that show may not be PG because I get death threats, I get cursing, I get all kinds of stuff all the time. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people that don't like me. No, I'm just kidding. No, anytime someone's account gets closed, everyone thinks that I like own the site, do all the software development and everything, so I get blamed for a lot of stuff. I have read some messages that would make you squirmish as far as threats to me and my family. That's a fun fact. I see a therapist. Don't you worry about my mental state of being. But some of those messages may not be PG. So if you're into that kind of thing, I'll probably start doing it from my own Twitch channel. So, what is happening, Peter? What's happening? I don't even know where you guys are off to in the Twitch chat. Your Twitch chat is just, it's out of my world. I missed the starting of that conversation. It looks like you guys are still discussing the news I touched on in regards to who qualified for the candidates, right? Nixon76 just subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much for being a sub to the chess.com Twitch channel. Were there any other subs that I missed? I realize I don't have my alert going. But Nixon, you didn't see your name on the show. I apologize for that. I will fix that before the next Chess Today show. But I saw you just subscribed to our channel. Really appreciate it. Coffee's out. Coffee's out. That means the show has to be ending very soon. All right. There's also a lot of other shows going on right now. The Chess Bra show. Let me check in with my team, see what they've been shouting at me. Checking out what's going on. Awesome stuff. All kinds of people having a blast. D. McBlasterson. What's on the Chess TV schedule after me? We know we got the Chess Bras rocking the Monday, so you're pretty much going to have a chess show to watch and watch people play games all day if you're into that kind of thing. But let's check the schedule. Actually, let's get me off the screen first and then check the schedule. So we got FIDE Grand Prix highlights with Uncle Yermo at 3 p.m. and then Master versus Many at 5 with David Pruess. So right after this, we'll go back to hosting the Chess Bras, but join us again for Uncle Yermo highlighting the best games and the final moments from the FIDE Grand Prix. I already touched on that, but that's always interesting. Yermo provides insights that nobody else does. Master versus Many with David Pruess. Oh, that reminds me. So if you're not playing Vote Chess, you can go over here and join up with one of these games. Now, it's actually a lot of fun, especially because once a month, we're hosting matches between a popular chess grandmaster personality. In fact, you can see there's already 7,500 players signed up to play Hess. I think that might be a record before it's even started. So 7,500 players. Every month, we have a new game starting where you and all of your fellow Chess.comians can join up and take on somebody in a Vote Chess game. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing the one in January. And then the hosts do videos and provide some education on all that stuff. Also, Vote Chess game here. Join up with Team Danny. I know that sounds super narcissistic and whatever, but I want to share with you that because we actually, it's really not. It's just for fun. We started a game here between my fan club and fan clubs of Luis, who's our big Spanish content guy. He does videos and hosts shows. Luis is literally the most hilarious thing in the chess world. He's absolutely amazing. So join my fan club, if you will, and then sign up for the Vote Chess game. So that you can help me take down Luis as each one of us goes over what our fans are doing. So my move here, I'm going to make my move and vote, and as soon as you do vote, you get to see what other people are voting. So let's see here. Knight takes d4 has been voted for 100% of the time, so no shocking news there. But I just gave you the ID game. So there's multiple Vote Chess games going on right now. One between me and Luis, Battle Royale. And then another one about to start on December 1st with Robert Hess. And as I said, David Pruis. Let's go back to the vote chess. Where is that game going on with David? Come on. Yeah, and you can go and join the fan club. So some of the games that are currently in progress. How do I see that? I really don't like our vote chess interface. There we go. Upcoming games. Public games. There we go. The Chess Bros are also playing a game. They've got 8,000. Master versus Many here. We've got David Pruis taking on the world. He's white, and he is on the attack. Say what? I'm going to join. I'm going to join and see if I can help the world defeat my buddy David. How do we deal with this attack here? Maybe queen to g6 works out? Pin the knight, avoid the pin. Queen g6, bishop e3 protecting the rook, knight g4 would be the only move, and then rook takes g4 would be winning for David. David's, I think, much better at these vote chess games than I am, because he knows how to play really dynamic positions where even those who are illegally accessing engines, which if you are, you're cheating, and we will catch you at some point, they're not always voting for the best move, because these positions are really tricky to understand, especially with limited time. Like Simon beat the world. Simon beat the world because he played a King's Gambit and just like crushed them and took advantage of the computer's over-materialistic tendencies. I've never beaten the world in a vote chess game. I've drawn, but I've never beaten him. Something tells me I should just play King H8. So I'm going to play King H8 and let's see what other people have voted for here. All right, so King H8 has received 54 votes. Knight G4, 16 votes. Okay, so that's fun. All right. So there you go. If you're not involved in any of the vote chess games, go ahead and do it. Jump on that train. Let that party happen in your world, right? All right. Well, I think it might be time for me to bring this this dog and pony dance we call the Chess Today Show to an end. I think it's time to bring this Chess Today Show to an end and send everybody packing over to the Chess Bros stream. Which will pick up the moment I end. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, you've missed a rippin' and rousing Chess Today show. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or my personal Twitch channel for the VOD replay. Sparty Jr. wants to know if I ever introduce myself as Daniel to people outside of chess. I don't unless they see my legal name and they say Daniel Rensch or whatever, like you're at the DMV or something, right? Otherwise, I don't introduce myself as Daniel. Pretty much always Danny. Sometimes I'll say it as a joke. Only my mother called me Daniel. You say that with your birth name. But pretty much everybody calls me Danny. As I get older, more and more people call me Dan. That's what happens when you start getting bags under your eyes. Your receding hairline becomes more obvious, and all that stuff. So Dan is more of that name that I'm growing into. Over at the chess.com TV chat. Just checking what's going on. Thanks everybody who's been here. As soon as we drop out here, we'll be back to the Chess Bros. And go ahead and have a great day on chess.com. Let's make one more move while I still have all of you here. Okay, we've got this guy that should just be a draw that I'm just torturing. Should I just take the draw? I mean, obviously there is like zero, like he could make 7 blunders in a row and he couldn't lose this position, But it's just more fun to make weird moves, I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, that was fun. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all of our viewers and supporters. Check out the Chess Bros stream, which is going to pick up the moment I go off the air. Stick around at 3 p.m. Pacific. Uncle Yermo goes live with highlights from the FIDE Grand Prix. Again, let me remind you right here, the FIDE Grand Prix. And then after that, we have International Master David Pruis diving into his vote chess game, which I am now on Team World a part of. And yeah, seriously, consider joining my fan club there and jump on the train. Let's beat Team Luis and give us some more votes. So peace out, everybody. Thanks for being here. Later.